Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, and today I'm gonna be talking about my game, Gridbound. So, Gridbound, oh, first of all, sorry if the video is a little bit shaky because I don't have a tripod right now. So, let's go. Gridbound is a TCG with a board game. I had the idea of making a TCG with a board game some like last year. So when I did it, I had a prototype last year. It was like a it was just a game with creature cards. It didn't have any other type of card, but I decided to improve on that because I want to make this game as a digital game. But I'll be making a physical copy to play with my friends. So yeah, here we have the name, how the board works. These two first lines is where the cards are spawned, where your creatures are spawned. Uh, the other side is where your enemy style spawns his creatures, and the rest of the board is where uh, the battle plays out. You can also place terrains and buildings on the middle of the board. So also the the spawn zone is not like a safe zone, so you can move your creatures to the enemy spawn zone and fight with him there. This tiny this tiny tile right here on both sides is where the master starts. So we have the creatures. The creatures, they have their name on top, their cost. I changed it a little bit, the design, so it's not like this. It's not a vertical anymore. It's horizontal. So the mana cost is here. The name is here. Ability is here. What he does. Also, this is the it's like a code they decided to make for every single card. So when I make the digital game, it will be easier to track the cards. It's like a flavor text right here. This is this part right here is the most important part of the cards. So we have the life, the attack value. We have the species of the card and the group where that the card is in. Here is how the card can move, and also here is the how the card can attack. This card is a movement 2, attack 1. So if I go to the end of this book right here, you can see some sketches I did. So for the Iron League, all the things are right in Portuguese because uh, I'm from Brazil. So yeah, here we have the first movement of this faction. So every card that has movement 1 will share the same movement as the with one another. Here we have the movement 2. This card is movement 2. So every card that has movement 2 will share the same uh, we share the same yeah, share the same movement. So you can notice that the first move, the second move, and the third move is each four different color tiles, 8 different color tiles, and 12 different color tiles. The same for the attack. This means that a card that is here can move to the blue tile that is there. So if a card is on this tile, he can move like two up, or like a horse in a way. And when the card moves, like, let's suppose here, this is the little black tile that the card is in. So yeah, it's kind of hard to explain a little, but it's not hard when you play it. So going to the next page, we have the terrains. The terrains is a special type of card. They can occupy more than one tile. So in the example I did right here, they occupy like 5 tiles in a plus shape. All the grid bounders that are the creatures, I decided to call them grid bounders. They they only occupy one tile, but the terrains and the buildings can occupy more. So here I have let me search for it. An example of a terrain. This terrain occupies 2 tiles. So these cards right here, you can see that they are the same size because they are the ones that you buy on the side of the board. You buy them, see what they do, and when you play them, You put them below the board, and you put the token of the card. Here I have one on the board. You can see that the, the tombstone terrain occupies two tiles. So if I pick the one I had right now, the token of the grid bounder, you can see that it's two tiles tall, like in the drawing right here. The terrains, the abilities of the terrains are applied when a grid bounder steps over the terrain. So it's kind of like a little bit hard to the ability to apply, but when you have like a lot of terrains, it comes in handy. Yeah. So the buildings, they have they can also occupy more than one tile, as I said before. This right here is an example of a building, and this is the card of the building. You can see how much it occupies right here, 4 tiles. Its ability, the the terrains have life, so a grid bounder can punch the terrain and to break it. And a grid bounder cannot step over a terrain, no matter what. Only when the terrain is broken. So it can be used either to block a path or to help you out on throughout the game. You can see right here that let me search for it. The terrain I last showed. Where's the card? Right here. The terrain, on the other hand, cannot be broken, but it only lasts the amount of time that is painted down here. So in this card, you have 2 turns before it breaks. So yeah, you just gotta wait. And the last but not least card is the spells card. The spell card has 3 different types of spells, where I have one example of each in my deck. Oh no, I have 2 examples of each. I don't have the third one, sorry. So the first one is an insta spell. The insta spell has this little symbol on the side. An insta spell is when you play it, the effect happens and it goes to the discard pile or the cemetery. That's what I call it on this game. You also have uh, the trick spell. So a trick spell, instead of placing upside, you place it downside on adder the adder place. Where the adder can hold up to 3 spells at a time. So the trick spell only applies its effect when the condition is attended. So in this example, I have the condition: opponent grid bounder attack your an ally grid bounder. So when an opponent grid bounder attack one of your allies, the the effect happens that is written down here. And the third type of spell is the long lasting spell. So a long lasting spell can be placed on the side or here, the side of the board, and its effect will happen uh, while while the time of discard is happening. So you can have like a long lasting spell where the condition to break it is if a card of yours dies. It works a little bit like a trick spell, but instead of activating when the condition is attended, it deactivates when the condition is attended. Here we have the factions. I made 2 already. Uh, I'm making the factions based on the like to draw creatures. I have 5 factions made already, but I've only drew 3 cards for 3 factions. So some of the important rules I haven't mentioned right here is what is a master. A master in this game is the card that represents your life. a master works similarly to a grid bounder but cannot be affected by spells like a grid bounder can. Uh, no, it can be affected by spells, but not spells that only target grid bounders. So the master purpose is to unify two factions. So you have five different factions with five main abilities each, and the master's purpose is to unify those two of them. The master has 30 HP and one attack, and the master movement unifies the middle movement of one of the factions with the middle movement of the other faction, and also the first attack of both factions. When you're making a game, you can have up to whatever quantity of cards you want of the first or the second faction under 50 cards. That is the limit of the deck, and the how much you gotta have in your deck. And you can have only 10 cards out of your faction, out of both of your factions. It doesn't necessarily need to be only like a in a third faction that you don't own or that your master doesn't cover, but can be like five cards of a third faction and five cards of a fourth faction as well. We also have the neutral faction that any deck can use, and you can use up to 50 cards of neutral faction. They don't have a main ability though. Here we have some trigger words I've made that will help the some cards work, and also some attributes. Attributes like in this card right here can is like an ability that can be shared throughout cards and doesn't necessarily need to be written on the card. You can understand how they work by the symbol only. So the first one is uh, yeah, I'll talk about it in the next video. So yeah. Also, going back to the master, I made some changes. I made some new rules to the master, where one of them is the anti-power creep ability. So your master can only be punched by an enemy grid bounder once per turn. So imagine if this grid bounder right here, I use this grid bounder to punch the enemy master. And when I punch the enemy master with this grid bounder cannot attack the enemy master anymore. It can attack other cards though, but not the enemy master anymore. And uh, yeah. So talking about the movements and the attack in this game. The movement, the movement and the attack has a cost value that progress uh, throughout how you use the card. So all the cards, the all the first movement of any card costs 0 mana, but the second one costs 1 mana, the third one costs 2 mana, and so on. So it gets more expensive as you use it, like one by one. And the attack, in the other hand, costs 1 mana. The first attack, the second attack costs 3 mana, and the third attack costs 5 mana. So it progresses two by two. So you can attack how many times you want and how many times you can with one card, but it will get more and more expensive. So let's suppose I attack with this card and this card right here, an enemy master. I'm attacking with this one, I will waste 1 mana. And after attacking with this one, I will again only waste 1 mana. But if I attack with this one two times, I'll waste 1 mana and then 3 mana. So in total, I waste 4 mana. While attacking with them differently, I only wasted 2 mana in total. So yeah, it can be handy if you like if this card is, let's suppose, 5 attack and this one is only one, so you only attack like 6. You only apply only 6 points of damage. While if you attack with this one, you apply 10 points of damage if this one had 5 damage. So the mana cap in this game is 15 mana, and how the mana progresses is every turn you gain one more mana than you had in the turn before. So let's suppose all the players start with one mana, and then the second turn for each one they have two mana, and after this 3 mana. So the mana you had in the last turn is just wasted, and in the next turn you get the total of the turn. So if we are in the 14th turn, both players will get 14 mana, and the mana cap is 15. So if I if we are on the 17th turn, we will only have 15 mana. It doesn't progress anymore after 15 mana. And yeah, I think that's all. I'll explain a little bit more about some factions I made on the next video. And thanks for watching. Take care.